You've been fighting so hard to get back to where you were, to get back to who you were before this situation, before this relationship, before this setback. And you're wondering why you're not getting any closer to who you were or where you were. It's because God's not calling you back. He's calling you up. He's called you to be new, not go back and try to renew who you were, but to renew who He's calling you to be. Today, I want to encourage you. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, it tells us, it says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. You're not winning the fight to get back because God's calling you to step up. Move forward and remember, new things are in front of you, and let go of the things that are behind you. Love you.
What up, world? Live on that with Mr. Be Great today, Lamar King Sr. Glad y'all tapped in with me. I know it's been a minute. Mr. Positivity is back with another delightful show for my loyal listeners. I want to thank you guys for being, loyal in my absence these past few months. But I am back like I never left. And I appreciate all the continued support out while I was gone. I've been checking on my analytics. I've been seeing you guys still tapping into some of my old shows. Make sure y'all go tap in buzzsprout.com. I'm on all platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, everywhere. I'm on air with Mr. Be Great today for some great motivational, inspirational words to carry on your journey throughout the day. So I'm back, guys, and I appreciate you guys' long anticipated wait for me to get back on the air and give you guys some of these words of encouragement. Shout out to My Radio Houston. They are currently doing the launch party here in Houston. We're going to be at Prospect Park today for brunch. So if you're in the city, make sure you guys go tap in with us. The show will be launching on Monday morning. So y'all guys, make sure y'all tap in. The link will be out there on all my social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, fan base, YouTube, all that good stuff. All right, so let me jump right on into this show. And the topic of discussion today is, for something new to come, the old must go. All right, and I got a question for my listeners. How have you gotten this far in your life? Just think about it for a second. Take a second and reminisce on your life and how you've gotten where you are, and the challenges and the obstacles you face, the good times, the bad times, the highs, the lows, and all in between. How have you gotten thus far in life? And some of us have taken, different routes. Some of us taken shortcuts, long routes, all these different things. But how did you get here? Many of us have been here, have gotten here through perseverance, hard work, just straight up diligence in their own work habit and work ethic throughout life. Some have great stories, some have triumphs, some not so much. But just again, think about, how did you get here? Right? Many of us have gotten here based on our experiences that we've been through. Many of us have gotten here from different avenues, good and bad, but nonetheless, we are here. And the title of the show says it all. For something new to come, the old must go. Now stay with me, because a lot of us are so accustomed to doing things a certain way. That's how we were raised. That's the environment we've come in, the education we've consumed, the careers, the friends, the family, so on and so forth. But in order to reach new heights or reach higher highs in your life, it's imperative that you let go of some of those old ways. And I understand that our life experiences have gotten us this far. Our life experiences have gotten us where we are today. And a lot of the advice and things we've taken in from, whether it be friends and family, mentors, colleagues, We've used it to get here. But personally, what have you done differently than you've always done? What have you done new? What have you done spontaneously to get a different outcome in your life? Many times, people tend to do things that they know they can achieve, right? They do things that they know they can conquer. Whether it be something as simple as fixing a meal or doing a recipe you've always done that's been passed down from mom and grandmom, or whether it's, picking out what you're going to wear, deciding what school or alma mater you're going to attend. All these things sometimes are predictable. And we've seen it in some form or fashion in our lives, and we take on these things because they're easily achieved. Many of us stay on jobs because we've gotten comfortable and we're accustomed to the routine that we've done, and we don't want to try anything new. Many of us have stayed in the same area or city or in town for our lifetime, and we're afraid to venture out and try new things, right? But when are you going to let go of some of that old ideology within yourself? When are you going to understand that in order for me to get something different, I have to do something different? I'm going to have to let go of some things that I once hold near and dear to my heart as truth, to experiment with your life. Because again, we only got one ticket in here, people. You only got one chance at life. There are many opportunities out here, and many of us have let it fall to the wayside because we failed to take a chance or take a risk on ourselves. Mr. Be Great today is here to tell you that you must let go of the old. And that goes for your old way of thinking, your old routine of doing things, your old conversation, and sometimes old friends, family, and colleagues. You have to let go. You have to venture out here into this big old world that we live in and push yourself to higher highs and understand that there are so many opportunities that we fail to take a chance on because we're so accustomed to the way we've always done things. Right? Another question. How many of you have ever watched a movie and said to yourself, I don't like how that ended. I liked the movie, but I don't like how it ended. And many times the reason why you didn't like the way it ended, because it wasn't, the hero riding off into the sunset. It wasn't a predictable ending that we're accustomed to seeing in movies that we enjoy. Many times we live a predictable life because our life has been programmed for us to be predictable. If that makes sense to someone. A lot of times anything outside of the normal scheme of things or the normal scope of things, it's looked at as foreign or looked at as if you don't know what you're doing. Because the old saying goes is failure is evidence that you're trying. And so many people are so afraid of failure and so afraid of doing something outside the normal scope of things that they won't even attempt. They won't even give it a shot. They won't even take a chance. And so they just stick to their comfort zone. They stick to where the normal of their life, the normal of their parents' life, the normal of their grandparents' life, and they just do what they've always seen things done, right? Because again, we have been programmed to live life a certain way. We have been programmed to see life as it's been taught to us. I'm 18, I'm grown. 21, I can drink. 25, I need to be married and have a college degree. It's so many things and milestones that has been set before us that we look at it as that's the way life is supposed to go. And we look at other people who've tried different things and who failed tremendously at life. And we look at them like, oh no, I'm not going on that path, and I'm going to stick to what I know, and I'm just going to look at them fail. But I tell you, more times than not, the people with the most failures in life get the furthest in life. The people with the most shortcomings in life have the biggest come-ups in life. And many times, more times than not, a lot of us are sitting on our hands and afraid to take a chance on ourselves because we're so accustomed to our way of thinking. We're so accustomed to the traditional way of doing things. When are you going to take a risk? When are you going to let go of the old way and traditional ways of what you've seen your forefathers and foremothers do and try something new for yourself? It's a hard pill to swallow because we're creatures of habit, as I've told you many times before here on the show. We're creatures of habit. We're accustomed to doing things a certain way. And anything outside of that, it seems far-fetched. It seems as if it can't be done. And like I said before, many of us try things and do things because we know we can easily achieve. We know we can easily conquer that goal or task. But when are you going to push yourself to the limit? When are you going to take yourself to a new level of life by getting rid of the old? Get rid of the old ideologies of things that have gotten you thus far. And I think we give life experiences more credit than needs to be, because hey, it's gotten me here. It's gotten me to where I'm at now. And again, I'm not saying that your life is boring or your life is mediocre because you're traditional. I'm talking to the people who want to challenge and push themselves to new levels of life, to new levels of thinking, to new ways of doing things, right? It's just like I've told you guys many times before. For many years, I didn't eat guacamole. I didn't eat it. I'm like, oh no, I'm not eating that. It looks disgusting, right? And many of us have that guacamole mentality about their life. They only want to do with the traditional things. They want to do the things that they've always done. They want to continue to seek out new highs, but doing the same thing. We know the definition of insanity. I don't have to tell you guys that. But when are you going to step out on faith in yourself? When are you going to take a risk and take a chance on your capabilities in life? We as human beings, we adapt to many situations. We're the most adapted people on the planet because we can conform to situations and transform into new highs. We can transform into a new life if we're just willing to take a risk on ourselves. If we're just willing to reinvent ourselves in a sense that we let go of the old programming, that we let go of the old way of seeing life. So many of us have tunnel vision when it comes down to our life and the way we accomplish our tasks, that we are afraid to do something different. That's why so many people nowadays, especially you see it all over the internet, have given up on love, relationship, and marriage because they've had some bad experiences in the past. And they said, I don't want to go through that again, and I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going through that. I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life and play the field. So many of us have stayed in the same career because we are accustomed to getting that paycheck at the end of the week, and we don't want to try anything new. We don't want to start over, as they say. So many of us has given up on friends and family because of the toxic nature that we've seen so often, that we're afraid to trust and believe in other people. Now, sometimes it's a necessity, or it's necessary for us to give up on old things, to give up on old friends and family and colleagues and environment and the things of that nature. But when are you going to give up on the old you? When are you going to give up on that old thought process that you've been holding on since a kid? The boogeyman is not real, my friend. Failure is needed. So many of us are afraid to fall. So many of us are afraid to take a chance on anything. The old saying goes that hurt people hurt people. You know why? Because you're carrying that hurt of old and trying to put it in a new situation. So many of us take that Drake mentality, no new friends because the old friends did us wrong and I don't trust people. I found out that new friends are essential to your growth. New friends oftentimes will do more for you than old friends. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're, giving you money or doing these astronomical things for you, but sometimes they're just a listening ear. Sometimes they can understand and empathize your situation more so without judgment of who you used to be. And I challenge you guys to take a risk on yourself. When is enough enough? When are you going to take that chance and step out on faith that you are going to survive this life, or you're going to survive this situation that you're in because you have a new level of faith and belief in yourself, and you've gotten rid of that old way of thinking. You've got rid of that old traditional way of doing things. So many of us are afraid. We sit on our hands, we sit back, and we just thinking someone is going to come save us. We're so codependent on parents and loved ones and so-called friends that we're afraid to move. And that could be figuratively or literally. We're so afraid to try something else. Oh, this is what I've always done. That's the way I've always been. That's the biggest dream killer in society today. Keeping that same docile ideology about yourself. When are you going to understand that you can reinvent yourself? You can change the way you view life. You can move mountain with a mustard seed of faith. And we know these passages over. They've been drilled in our head, but the true innate belief in that is null and void because we truly don't believe it, because we're so accustomed to our comfort zone. We don't believe we can move mountains. We don't believe that a mustard seed of faith is going to get us through life. It sounds good. It's a good sound bite. It's a great cliche. But many of us have so much doubt. And the doubt is more so in ourselves than anything else. We claim we don't believe in friends and new love lives and new career opportunities. No, you don't believe in yourself. When are you going to let it go? When are you going to adopt a new mentality about yourself? So many of us are so afraid of change. We're so afraid of new environments. We're so afraid of new people. Many of you guys know I'm from a small town. And again, I love small town living. I was born and raised there, and it's almost like a close-knit family. Everyone knows everyone. You probably related to a lot of them. But as you get older, and you understand that you're a shark in a fishbowl, you understand that your growth is stifled because you haven't moved around and seen this big old vast world that we live in. I never forget that when I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was working in Chapel Hill. Shout out to the Tar Heels. And it was Ash Wednesday. And I was going into this convenience store. And as I was leaving the convenience store, as I'm walking out the door, I see a group of what looked like college students. And they all had black crosses on their forehead. And trust me, guys, I thought I was in a horror movie. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Like I said, I'm from a small town, traditional Christian Baptist town. And I see these people with these black crosses on their forehead, and I'm like, oh my God, what the world is this? I'm almost in a panic. My anxiety level was at an all-time high. I'm like, what is this? And if you guys already know, for those who've been around and seen this on Ash Wednesday, they know that's a tradition for Catholics to put the cross on their head on Ash Wednesday. I had never seen it before in my life. In my small level of thinking, my unexperienced life, thought I was in a horror film. There's so many different cultures and ways of living out here in this world that my small town upbringing had sheltered me from. And I saw something as simple as a traditional thing that Catholics do, that fear overtook me. And I instantly became paranoid of like, what the hell is this? Fast forward, I moved to Houston, Texas. And I was working at this establishment that the owners, they were Muslim. And they came up on this, I forget the name of the holiday that Muslims, I forget the name of it. But when I tell you, there were about, I would say, at least 500 Muslims in traditional dress. And they came to the establishment on this holiday. I can't think of the name of it. And behind the establishment, they had a pen full of goats. And these people were slaughtering goats. I'm talking about hundreds of goats, slaughtering them, blood everywhere. I'm like, what the hell is this? That's the idea. It blew my mind. I had no idea that this was a traditional holiday for Muslims. Again, my small town upbringing had sheltered me from this experience. And I saw that, and they're like, hey, this is normal, man. This is our holiday. They sacrifice the goat, and they end up cooking them and having a feast and give out to the people around them, their peers. But it was so foreign to me. I had no idea that they did this. And this was just this year. But these people have had this tradition for hundreds of thousands, if not thousands of years. And sometimes when you don't understand new things because you're so accustomed to the old way of thinking and the old experiences that you've encountered, new things will scare the head out of you. It will shock you to your core. And that's why so many people are accustomed to doing things the same old way, because new things make them afraid. New things bring fear upon them. Right? So that's why it's so imperative that you let go of some of these old ideologies that you've carried for many, many years. It's imperative that you let go of some of this old way of thinking that you've carried since your childhood and step out on faith and be a person that embraces new experiences and new peoples and new environments. And until you take on that challenge, until you see the world for the vast thing that it is, you'll oftentimes receive the same experiences, sometimes just in a different situation in your life. Sometimes you'll see things for what they used to be. The old saying, oh, it's just too good to be true. That's an old cliche that's hindered you for so long in life. When are you going to just let go of that old mentality? Let go of some of that old doctrine that you just used as truth in your life. When are you going to take a chance and take a risk on yourself once again? As a child, you were only afraid of falling and a loud sound. But as you got older, life gave you many new fears, many new uncomforts, because of you're so accustomed to familiarity or traditional things that when new ideologies and new cultures and new customs are placed in front of you, that false experience of appearing real shows its head. When are you going to see that there are many things that you have yet to experience because you're afraid to step out of that comfort zone, because you're afraid to let go of that old mentality that you've carried you thus far in life? So many of us are so afraid of change. We're so afraid to experience life on different levels, new playing field, because the old way has gotten us this far in life. The old way is just the way we've always done it. When are you going to take a chance or take a risk to push yourself to a new level, to escape that comfort zone that's stunting your growth in life? So many of us are baffled by new experience. I got friends who say, man, I'm coming to see you in Houston, but I'm not flying. Why? Because I'd never flown before. And I had to remind my friend, like, dude, you know you got a higher risk of dying on the highway than you do on a plane? Yeah, but I'm still not flying. See, that's that old mentality, that old anxiety that rears its head when new experiences are faced with you or coming upon you. And so many of us have that fear of flying in so many areas of our lives that we stand still and we do nothing, and we do the exact same thing we've always done. A lot of us can't perform outside of our initial environment or habitat that we were raised in because we're so comfortable with the familiarity of the people in the environment that we were once in that we're afraid to go to a new level. We're afraid to go to a new place. But I challenge my listeners, I challenge you guys to let go of the old, because that's the only way you're going to get something new. I challenge you to stop waiting on a predictable ending of the movie that you're living in. I challenge you to experience new things so you can see life at its fullest. Many of us has hindered our own selves. We have cut our own legs off and under us because we're afraid to step out there and try something else. We're afraid to travel to a new place and put our roots in a new place, in a new area. Why? Because of the old traditional way of thinking. Because of that old comfort zone that's hindering you so much in your life. When are you going to step out there on faith? When are you going to let go of that old mentality? When are you going to try something different? And who cares if you fail? Failure is only evidence that you're trying, that you're not afraid, that you're not second guessing yourself on things that you've never done before. Many of us give up inches from the goal line. Even when we try something new, we'll do it for so long and we don't get that instant gratification, we revert back to the old way. That's why so many dreams and books and inventions and relationships have never even blossomed, because you continue to hold on to that old mentality. You continue to hold on to that old traditional way of doing something. I challenge you today to do something completely different with your life. I challenge you to push yourself to a new high in your own scheme of things so that you can see that life is more than the old you. Life is more than your old way of thinking. We are not in high school anymore. This is not a popularity contest. I challenge you to go make your own trail. Stop walking the walk just because that's what mama them said do. Stop having those conversations that you once had in high school. Don't be afraid to step out there on faith and do something completely different so you can get something completely different out of it. And it's a hard pill to swallow, because again, we are creatures of habit. We are people that are accustomed to doing things the same way over and over again. But it's time for you to break that cycle. It's time for you to step outside of that dream-killing comfort zone and do something for yourself. I'm not saying sabotage your life and just fly by the seat of your pants with no plan, no goals in mind. But I'm saying get strategic about who you are and trying to do something different and do something new in life. And that's all I got for y'all today. I really hope this touches someone, because there's someone out there that is suffering in their comfort zone. There's someone out there that's suffering in their traditional way of thinking. All because they're afraid to try new things. All because they are looking at life as I once did about guacamole. So many of us are afraid to get on that airplane of life and travel to new highs of life and understand that there's a big world with many different traditions out there. And trust me, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be foreign. It's going to be scary. But I challenge you to do it anyway. I challenge you to push yourself to the next level. And if you're okay with living the life that you're living thus far, by all means do so. But if you want something more, if you want something different, if you want to push yourself to throughout this vast world we live in, I challenge you to let go of the old. I challenge you to ask for an understanding of who you want to become. I want you to envision yourself already there. Stop looking back. The windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason. Your peripheral vision is something that is used for you to see that you have so many options and opportunities in life. But if you're constantly looking up at that rearview mirror, trying to focus on how you would have handled it or handle it like you once would, you might as well turn the seat around and look out the back window. All right? So y'all make sure y'all go tap in with me on My Radio Houston, Mr. Be Great Today on TikTok, YouTube, and Fanbase. Great Today INC on Facebook, and Be Great Today INC on IG. I love you all, and you already know. Be great today. Peace.
I thought I heard you, but you disappeared. And I know you noticed when you said you